my top is like getting on my nerves right now. Stupid. Nah, okay. Not too low, but inappropriate. Can I get my leg up? Oh yes, she can. Just gonna move forward though. And I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna do this. Can you see that? You can't. Okay. Hello everyone. So in today's video, I thought I would do a kind of talk through of my skin and my skin routine and different tips that I've kind of learned through having my eczema, and hopefully that'll help you guys. This is probably going to be a bit of a rambly, all over the place video, but I have my notebook here and let's just get on with the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is my skin condition. I have eczema. I've had it since I was a baby, I believe, and I've had stages where it's been quite bad, stages where it doesn't even feel like or look like I have eczema, and bits where it's like always in between, which is most of the time. Basically, if you don't know what eczema is, it's a skin condition where if you're, I guess you could say, for me, I feel lucky because mine isn't that bad, and it's just you get dry, flaky skin, it's really itchy. Worst cases are where people get quite blistery skin and it's a lot more sore and quite painful at times. So dealing with my eczema has been from, I can only really remember from when I was like, most recently about 12, but I think when I was a baby my skin wasn't too bad, and I had multiple trips to the doctors and have been given like loads of creams. Like we have a box that's probably about this big and like this deep, filled with like a load of different creams and ointments and steroids and stuff like that for mine and my mum's skin, because I get it from both of my sides, because my mum has it and people on my dad's side have it, so I was screwed either way. And I don't really think it was that bad when I was younger, up until I think I was 10 or 11, and I got a throat infection, or chest infection, throat infection, and we went to the doctors and he gave me this medicine which I had had before when I was younger, my mum told me, and I can't remember what it was called, but there was something in it that I was allergic to, and I'm not sure what that was called either, which is really bad. I'm bad with names of medicines and stuff like that, but I had a reaction to it and it was pretty bad. My skin was always sore and red, and if I caught like the slightest bit, like a load, it would be so painful and it would just bleed and it was horrible, and I lost a lot of confidence because of it. And since then my skin hasn't really been the best. I had a time last year, I think it was around the end of summer, beginning of autumn, where my skin was completely clear. Like I didn't have any spots, I didn't have any dry skin, it didn't even look like, or it didn't feel like I had eczema, and I didn't have to use any of my creams especially for eczema, so that felt really good considering when I was 12 and just got into high school I had to wear a completely different material shirt, which was, instead of being a navy blue, was a light blue, which drew attention, and I got a lot of questions and it made me feel really uncomfortable, and my attendance was really bad during that year because I would have days where I felt horrible and I didn't want to go into school, and my skin was so bad that I couldn't always move. So that was the worst I'd ever really had it. And when I look back on pictures from then, it does make me feel quite sad because my skin was like, I'm actually quite a pale person, like my face is nearly white, and because I couldn't I didn't wear any makeup then, so I had like a white face and like patches around my eyes that were red and like bits on my neck that were all red. But over the years I've found things that I can't use, creams that I can't use, things that I can't eat that react, like not just allergies but food that aren't actually good for my skin, and tips and little things that help a little bit, not only with my confidence, but I feel like I can look after my skin better now than I could before, because from that experience I've kind of tested a lot more things and been a lot more daring, I guess, with like different creams and stuff to try. So one basic tip that like everyone says all the time is to drink plenty of water, and I'm quite bad at this because I can't really drink a lot of water because it does make me feel sick. I don't know why, but it just does. But today I've had like a glass of water with me the whole time and I'm feeling slightly sick. But the annoying thing is you'll pee a lot more, but it does clear your skin and you feel a lot more refreshed, I guess. So that's my first tip. My next tip is to find foods that you can and can't eat. Things that will help your skin and things that won't. So things that don't help my skin are things that I'm allergic to, but like only certain things. So an example, I can't have nuts because not only do they kind of close my throat a little bit, but I have a complete reaction like around the whole of my mouth, and they'll swell up and they'll be really sore and they'll become dry, and that'll happen for like a couple days and I'll just end up with like really dry lips, so I can't have nuts. I should have done research before this, but I'm not too sure what foods are good, but it's more about trialing foods and seeing the effect of it, whether you feel better and whether your skin looks and feels a lot better, because sometimes it doesn't look the nicest but it's actually helping your skin, and it will take a while for your skin to also follow with what you're putting into your body, I guess, if any of this makes sense. But it's mostly just about testing and finding foods that help and foods that don't. It's a lot easier to find foods that don't help you, and if they don't help you, whether you like them or not, slowly cut down, or just completely, like, if you don't have it like ever or it's really rare, just cut it out completely. But with other foods that you have quite a lot, just like slowly minimise them and then they'll just fade out and you won't even think about them anymore. Find a brand that works for you. So for me, Clean&Clear and Simple are really good because Simple is for sensitive skin and it doesn't use too many chemicals and stuff like that. And Clean&Clear, I don't know about it, but it just doesn't affect my skin at all. It just focuses on what it says on the packaging. Again, talk to your doctor about what creams and ointments and steroids they would suggest that might help you, but I would recommend a doctor that you see regularly, or one that you have spoken to about your skin before, so they know what your skin's like and what the best next step is if you've been to them before, so they can kind of see how your skin has or hasn't improved and what they then think would be better. If you have been to your doctor and they haven't really been the best, I would recommend a dermatologist. So when I obviously had my skin flare up, we went to the doctors and they said that it would be best to go to a dermatologist. We went to the dermatologist and we had an allergy test to see what I was obviously allergic to and whether that was what was affecting my skin. So when you go to an actual professional that has like the skills, I guess, and knows a lot more about your skin and about skin, it's a lot better because then they can take the right tests and they can give you the right and specific advice for your skin type. So it's a lot more accurate than it is going to the doctors, but going to the doctors is one of the best things to do first. The last tip I have that I can think of now is that if you're going to have a bath, don't be in the bath for too long. I'm the type of person that will go in with my laptop and watch like a whole series and a few series while I'm in the bath, but I realise that it's not a good thing because the longer I'm in the bath, my skin dries out a lot more. I'm not sure why, but that's just what I found. And I'm not saying don't have a bath, because I have a lot of baths, but don't be in the bath for like nearly an hour, which is kind of what I do. Be in there for like, I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes, just to relax and, you know, wash and all that. But don't just sit in there and just think about your skin for when you get out. That's kind of why I can't really go swimming that much anymore, because my skin gets a lot more dry. My skin has been a lot worse since I had the flare up, and before that, when I used to go swimming, I used to be fine and I'd get out and I'd be dry obviously and I'd have to cream and all that, but now it's like a lot worse and the skin's a lot more flakier and it's a lot more painful and horrible. So just think about the effects of after being in the water. So I'm gonna go through some of the creams and things that I use for my eczema, spots and just skincare in general. I have had a lot more creams in the past, as I said, but one, they're in the box, two, some of them didn't really work, and I just want to talk through the things that do work for me instead of the things that don't. And yeah, so let's just get on with that bit. Just cross my legs and now I can't reach. Damn it! Don't. So I'm not entirely sure where to start. I think I'm going to start off with the stuff that's mostly for my eczema. So in the past I used Vaseline and it worked when I was younger, but I found that it was a lot oilier. But I do use that now for my lips when they're dry. And the thing with using creams is you have to swap them up. Have my voice gone a bit croaky? The thing with creams is that you have to kind of change them a lot because your skin gets used to that product and the way it works, I guess, but it's always best to kind of change it. So I used Vaseline for a little while and then it stopped working, and I found that it was, I think I've said this in a previous video, but it was quite oily, so all my clothes would stick to me and it would be really uncomfortable, and it was more of something I could wear or use at night. So that's one thing that I used. Another thing that I use now is Elecon, and I believe this is an ointment. It is, because it says on here, and it's quite a strong one, and they gave, when did they give this to me? I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. I think they gave this to me a little while after they gave me all the other things for my skin, and I can't use it on its own because it's quite strong for my skin, so I always tend to mix it with Epiderm, which is just like a moisturiser, and it's also good for psoriasis and other skin conditions, as it says on here. So these are two things that I usually put together, and I tend to use both of them mixed together on my arms because that's where it's a lot worse, and sometimes on the back of my neck, but the rest of the time it's usually just this on its own, and it's good because it's quite cooling, because it's mostly something I use a lot, like thick layers in the summer, because it's really cool, and because obviously you get quite hot in the part of your arm where it bends, so that's a good thing to use. You can see them all. Can you see them standing there? I don't know. What else do I use? So I had, I think it was last year. It was, I think it was last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. I had this flare with loads of spots, and I was using loads of like tea tree and stuff like that all over my skin. Not all over my skin, but like mostly on the spots, and all the different kind of spot treatments, and nothing was working. So in the end we went to my doctor and she gave me this. I'm not gonna read it out, I'll pop the name down here because I can't even say that. Zindacillin? I'm not sure. But this is just a gel, and this was for spots, and this was just worked within the week that I used it. Like, all my spots just weren't like that, because I found that when one went, another one came back to replace it, where with this it just stopped them completely and none came back. So when I have, like, I've got a spot around here, so I've been putting this on it, and it works. It feels really weird, it's like a jelly type texture because it's a gel, but it does really work. Most parts of my body where my skin isn't like riddled with eczema, I use the Palmer's Cocoa Butter formula, and I just use this on my legs because my legs aren't that bad, to be honest. It's just on my knees, and yeah, it's just my knees really. My legs get dry, but this is what kind of helps them along and moisturises them, and plus it smells really nice. It smells so nice. I use that, and I also have the hand cream version, which is over there. I also have a couple lip balms that I use, and they're both the Maybelline Baby Lips, and the one that's Intense Care, and is this Intense Care? Yeah, Intense Care, and the Hydrate one, and these are both very good. I have to switch them around a bit depending on how my lips feel, like whether they feel dry and sore, I use the Intense Care, whether they just feel dry and a little bit and I guess dehydrated, I'll use the Hydrate. Another two things that I use for my spots are the tea tree, like I said before, because it just dries up your spots, but I don't recommend putting it like on the sides of your nose because it burns in your eyes obviously, or like too close to your lips, something that's going to be quite far from your eyes and stuff like that, because it's quite strong. So tea tree is a good thing to dry up your spots if you don't have any toothpaste, which I hope you do. And I also use the Clean&Clear Advantage Spot Control Moisturiser. It sounds weird, something in my nail. It sounds weird, but do you mind? But I got this when I was like in year 8, so whenever I smell it, it reminds me of when I was in year 8, and it's just weird. But you can wear this under makeup or on its own. I tend to wear this on its own and put it on at night, but only really on the spots and around the area of the spots. Another thing I use is Savlon. So it's an antiseptic cream, but I use this on parts of my eczema where the ointment is too sore and painful to put on it, and if the epiderm isn't working, because obviously it's just a moisturiser, so I put this on so it kind of cleans, I guess, the area and stops it from getting infected, and then I'll put the epiderm over the top, so I'll kind of mix these two, this with the epiderm as well. I use Biore, I believe it is, I can't remember. Ultra Deep Cleansing Pore Strips. I used one this morning actually, and these have witch hazel and tea tree oil in them, and they're really satisfying to use as well because I put them over like the whole of my nose, and then when they're like hard I like tapping on it, and then when you take it off it's painful, so you have to be very slow and careful with it, but it's satisfying because you feel all the stuff and the gunk coming out of the blackheads. This is so gross, but when you see, it's like really satisfying, and your nose is just clear, and then obviously you moisturise it and it feels fresh and new and soft like a baby's bum. So I use these. I also use the Body Shop Vitamin E Intense Moisture Cream and the Vitamin E Overnight Serum and Oil. The Body Shop is also another product that I can use, and the Vitamin E focuses for dry skin, so if you do have dry skin, whether it's eczema or not, I do recommend using Vitamin E because it is really good. So when I'm washing my face and everything, I use the Simple Kind Skin Moisturising Facial Wash, and once or twice a week I'll use the, is this open? No. The Simple Clear Skin Oil Balancing Exfoliating Wash, which has witch hazel in it as well. And for, again, my blackheads, which I have on my chin, and it's only really on my chin and my nose and like dots around my cheeks, which I don't know why, I use the Clean&Clear Blackhead Clearing Daily Scrub, which is really good. The only thing that annoys me are the little blue balls that you get in it that are just like everywhere, and they pop up like on your towel, on your flannel, just around the edge of the sink. It's just, that's the one thing that annoys me about this, is the little balls that come with it. And the last set of skin stuff that I use is the Simple Kind Skin Cleansing Facial Wipes, which I use if I'm taking off my makeup, and I think, yeah, removes waterproof mascara, so I use this to remove my makeup if I don't have any makeup on and I'm ill and I'm not feeling the mood for a bath or a shower. I'll just like wipe over my face and have a quick wash. And yep, I also then use the Simple Purifying Cleansing Lotion, the Soothing, and the Soothing Facial Toner. I have two of these because I use this so much. And in the bathroom, because I don't really use it that much anymore, it's the Simple Moisturiser. I can't remember what it's called, but it's in a little bottle. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope it was helpful with some of the tips. And if you do have any questions about the stuff that I use, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you want some advice, because obviously I'm not a professional or a doctor, but I have had experience, so I'll try to help. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you found it very helpful, let me know as well. And subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!